Today's one of those days where feedbacks took way too long. No motivation to do that much work. And no amount of watching Tony Robbins, or whatever his name is, or Gary V's videos are gonna do anything. It's just one of those days. I can never do this right. Nope. That was better, but still not great. So okay, I get it. Not much filming has been done today. That's because I've been in one of those, let's not leave the house moods, because I've been doing a lot of stuff, like I keep saying, I keep Mondays to myself. But it's okay, I've had a plan up my sleeve, and this is what we're going to be talking about today. Yes, so today we are going to be talking about the 3 sort of most popular fitness diets I come across. And what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be telling you guys the pros, the cons, how they work, and why you should probably stay away from the 2 of them and go with one of them. So the first one that we are going to be talking about is the Paleo. Is that how you spell it? I wasn't sure if it was like that you spelt it or like this. We'll stick with this. Paleo. Very, very popular among CrossFitters, Paleo. I remember it first started quite a while back. So basically, the Paleo diet is based on the foods that cavemen used to eat. So people tend to cut out grains, people tend to cut out things that weren't man-made, or things that aren't sort of man-made, so rice and... so I know rice isn't man-made, but it's got to go through this processed stuff. That's the word I'm looking for, processed stuff. So it's based on natural things. It excludes a lot of food groups. Sugar is demonized in the Paleo diet, but it's basically based on meats, which is brilliant, but not burgers, because obviously man-made. Things that grow on the floor, but not bananas. Don't think they're allowed, because, don't know. A mammoth is fine, because they used to eat that back in the cavemen days. Basically, it's a lot of restriction, and it works, okay? It works because people will cut out food groups. So for example, they cut out, I think potatoes is not on the list, I think rice. So let's use 2 carb heavy meals there. So carb heavy meals such as potatoes and rice. So if someone is going to be cutting those 2, or those particular 2 foods out of their diet, then they are reducing calories as a whole. Think as to how often you may eat a particular food. Let's say chocolate, for example. Me personally, I eat chocolate every single day because I'm a flexible dieter. But let's say, for example, you cut out chocolate. You're going to be eating less calories because you stopped eating a particular food group. Now, this is what the Paleo diet does. But it's not sustainable. And this is what I don't like about it. Because if you are going to go out for food with your friends, there's a very high probability that the food that is banned on the Paleo diet is going to be across all of the menus. So when that happens, people tend to go AFI, which means fuck it. And when that happens, that's when the tide starts to turn, and that's when people get caught in this vicious circle where they eat well throughout the week. Look back at yesterday's previous vlog, where they eat well throughout the week, and the weekend comes and it's, and then the circle continues. So they're losing all of this weight, they're eating well, and then they're eating themselves out of a deficit by going off track. Because, I'm going to say it, because I'm not scared to voice my opinion, the paleo diet is not sustainable for anyone. Unless you're very, very I forgot the word. When you're very, very, fuck's sake. May as well cancel this vlog. Oh, self-discipline. If you've got very, very strong self-discipline and you think that for the next 60 years that you can go without eating bread and pasta and carbs and stuff like that, then you have got a very strong mindset or you live a very boring life. I'm sorry. And my next one is the low carbohydrate diet. Now believe you me, I tried this and I lost weight. This is going back years. And the reason why people lose weight on this is because, again, they're cutting out carbohydrate, which is a macronutrient in itself. And if you're going to exclude one macronutrient in itself, then you are going to be cutting out calories. So it's not the carbs that are the devil, it's the calories. Not the excess carbs, not the no carbs before marbs bullshit, okay? Carbohydrates are our #1 source of energy. It's what keeps us going throughout the day. And they are lovely and tasty and delicious. See, here's the thing. The low carb diet works because people are cutting out calories. But again, it's not sustainable. The thing is, people don't fail on diets. Because let's face it, all diets work. The issue is keeping the weight off. And this is why the low carbohydrate diet is not great. Because again, when you set up a diet, you need to be thinking long term. You need to be looking down the line in 50, 60 years, and you would need to be asking yourself, am I going to be able to do this diet in 50, 60 years? Am I going to be able to go 50, 60 years without eating a single carbohydrate for the rest of my life? No, you're not. Not a fucking chance. Not a chance. Because carbohydrates are delicious. And this is why I don't like the low carb diet. Is because as soon as you go back to eating carbohydrates, you are inserting extra calories back into your diet and boom, your weight goes from there back up to there. It's not sustainable. You are not going to be able to maintain your weight, or there's a very, very low probability that you will maintain your weight as soon as you go back to eating carbohydrates, because you are eating more calories as a whole when you start eating carbohydrates. And that's why I don't like them, and that's why I don't think it's sustainable. And it's probably the fucking worst diet I've ever tried in my life. I was miserable for the 2 weeks I was on it. But I lost about 6-7 pounds, which is probably majority water retention, because when you eat carbohydrates, your body holds on to a bit of water as well that go with it. I can't remember what the correct multiple is, but I think it's for every, let's say, this is the example, for every 1 gram of carb, your body holds on to 2 grams of water. That's not the number, I just can't remember it on the top of my head. That's just an example for you. So yeah, carbohydrate or low carbohydrate diet. Which brings me on to numero 3. Oh, that's 4. That's embarrassing. I can't get that finger to stay up. Oh, that hurts if I try and do that. Not hurts, but it just feels really uncomfortable. Which brings me on to number 3. Flexible dieting. So a lot of people have a lot of negative things to say about flexible dieting. Number 1, they say it doesn't work, which is absolutely mental, considering that it's based on every other diet, calories and macros. So I don't get where that comes from. When you see the likes of Alberto Nunez, who is probably the most shredded natural bodybuilder I've ever seen in my life. His skin is like a penis skin. You can see veins everywhere. That's how lean he is. So, yeah, that is just, I don't understand people who don't think it works. I really don't get it. A lot of people look down on it and frown upon it because apparently when you diet, you're not meant to enjoy the foods that you're eating. It's meant to be suffering, because if you're not suffering, you're not sort of gaining and making any shredding gains. That's what I've heard as well, apparently. So with flexible dieting, no food is off limits, nothing, zero, but the amount that you eat is. And personally, I don't think a lot of people can cope with the freedom that flexible dieting has or brings with it because of the freedom that they have, and that's fine. Some people like rigid eating, and that's absolutely fine. People like following a diet plan, and if that's the way that some people like to work, then that's absolutely fine by me. But, you know, just need to understand that you don't have to suffer when you're dieting. You can have the freedom to eat whatever you want, but it does take a lot of willpower and sort of, I've lost the word again, self-discipline. Fucking that word, I'm gonna get that tattooed on my forehead. Self-discipline, because you have to track everything that goes into your mouth. Ooh, if something's written down for you, then it's easy to sort of track it and whatnot. And it takes a lot of willpower to be able to pick the right foods, because it is easy when you are, or when you do have your own control of your diet, to go off plan and to eat unhealthy stuff. But that's okay from time to time, so long as the other 80% of the bulk of your diet is on point. And by on point, I mean coming from foods such as tuna, rice, chicken, broccoli, spinach, avocados, blah 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 blah, oats. So yeah, that's flexible dieting, and for me personally, it works really, really well. I love the freedom that it brings. I couldn't go back to trying any other diet now, but just understand that every diet is based on calories and macros. If you are going to be eating less calories than what your body needs, you are going to be in a calorie deficit, which over the long term, if you can sustain it, no matter what fucking diet you're doing, then you are going to drop body fat and you are going to drop weight, and that's going to enable you to look absolutely shredded when you take your top off to impress your friends and the ladies. And that's what it boils down to. And the reason why flexible dieting wins, in my opinion, is because it educates you with regards to calories, macros, carbs and protein, and that you will stop looking at foods as good or bad, and you will understand that you can eat certain things in minimum quantities from every now and again, and still make progress. And Alberto Nunes actually made a prediction that, I think it was 2020, that a lot of these sort of die-hard bro bodybuilders and whatnot, or whatever you call them, bodybuilders will be flexible dieters, because more and more bodybuilders are starting to become aware of the freedom that it gives you, and that's brilliant, because more and more research is being done on it, and that's what it's all about, is going with science, because that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. Science, it doesn't prove anything, but I would 100% every single day go with something that's backed with some research, some science, than something that just the jack dude at the gym has told me because it's worked for him. So that's the take-home point that you need to take from all of these videos. Every diet works, but thermodynamics, calories in versus calories out, is what matters. That is what matters at the end of the day. Eat less calories than what your body needs, you will burn fat. Consistency, time, patience. Rome wasn't built in a day, neither will your physique.